Welcome to Knife Chats. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with friends, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Thank you. Just received the latest of my brown Stag knives. This wasn't one that I picked out, but one that was picked out for me, I guess you could say. It was part of the November subscription box, and the knife came separately because there was a mix-up, and I guess they didn't make it to the subscription box, so they sent a letter out saying that it would arrive later. And it arrived today, about 5 days after I received the initial box. Actually, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, 5 days later, I got the other one. So hopefully everyone else is getting their Rough Ryder now, too. Before I actually show you the knife that's in the box, let me go over the ones that I have so far. It's a slow-growing collection. I'm not going out of my way to pick them up, but I have been picking them up over time. This is one of the first ones I ever picked up, and this is the Cattle knife, and it was by Marbles. Now, Marbles is also a Smoky Mountain Knife Works house brand. Yeah, it used to be a knife out of Gladstone, Michigan, but once the company went bankrupt, the Marbles trademark was picked up by SMKW, and this is really a big honking knife and very solid, well made. I think I've talked about it before. You see the nice swedge there on the blades. You got a rather large pin blade and a really nice clip blade with the Cattle knife reverse frost etching on there. Now these old Marbles, they don't have a half stop, but the bone Stag is almost identical to what you see in the current Colt line. Also got a brown Stag bone toothpick in the Marbles line. This is a 5-inch toothpick. They did not come out in the Rough Ryder line, but if you're familiar with the Rough Ryder 5-inch toothpicks, the Marbles 5-inch toothpicks are identical. Same 440A stainless steel. You have the same triple ring bolsters and everything else. So I think to date there's either 6 or 7 large toothpicks in the Marbles line. Get that there. And then the next one I got before Rough Ryder started doing it, the brown Stag was in the Colt line, and I have a really big honking hawkbill. Notice it's got the Colt Python C and the Colt Federal Shield instead of a Rough Ryder Federal Shield. But otherwise, and you see Colt there, you got the swedge there, and these do have the half stop. So if you can find any of the old Colt Stag bone, they're going to match your Rough Ryder line. And I wouldn't doubt, if they haven't already done it, I'm guessing the hawkbill will make it over into the Rough Ryder line. And it's really well made, and it's 440A. The Colt knives were just a little bit better in quality and build than the old Rough Ryders. And basically, when Rough Ryder, when Colt basically said no more knives, SMKW could no longer make the Colt brand knives, so they moved a lot of the old Colt frames over to the Rough Ryder line, and that's why you're seeing that little bit of a step up in quality, because the Rough Ryder, the Colt knives are always slightly better than the Rough Ryder knives. So when you're seeing these Stag bone knives, you're seeing the old Colt knives, but now in a Rough Ryder marking, and that's why notice the Colt Python C there. Now you've got the Rough Ryder R into the bolster, but otherwise you just got the same pinched nickel silver bolsters and everything else. So pretty cool, and they do match. And I got the Barlow. I think I showed that one very recently, and I have their so-called Trapper. It's really a nice little jackknife with a terrific pin blade and a nice long California style clip blade. And yeah, I like that one. I like to refer to it as my pin blade jack, though I don't usually call it a pin blade trapper. And obviously the other one here is the little Rough Rider cub knife, the little cub lockback. And I've talked plenty about those. I'm collecting these also because I really like them. Let's move on to the next one, the latest brown Stag Rough Rider that I have. So the knife comes in your typical brown Stag bone magnetic box. These are also a holdover from the old Colt knives. As you can tell, I've already opened it up, removed it from the plastic. And there you have it. This one is a, I don't know if they called it a small moose or something like that. I like to call it a mini moose because, you know, Minnie Mouse, Minnie Moose. So it's for killing your midget mooses, and if you need to skin a midget moose, you get your mini moose out. Pretty cool little knife, actually. I like the shape of these. I like the arc on it. You know, it's like rocks. Got the Federal shield into the bone. Bone is well, the Stag bone is pretty evenly matched, I think. See there. See there, see there, see there. It looks a little dull. That might be from some wax or some release or something. I'll polish that off. You got your half stop, and you got your nice swedge on the blade. That's a nice little clip blade. Get the measurements in just a second. And then you've got that stylized, or whatever you want to call it, spay blade. I do love the belly of that spay. I think I've talked about that before. It's almost to the point where, and if you notice, this curves upward a little bit. If you were to grind that down, it would end up going right there. You would almost straighten that thing straight out, and it would be just a regular like skinning blade. But so it's almost like an upswept spay blade. The point is not too pointy. That's the whole purpose of it, so it won't cut into something. You could also hit it just a little bit with a file there and get it even less pointy, but that's so you won't cut into the intestines. That's why they do it that way. I'm wondering here, where's my caliper? Okay, when I first saw this, I was thinking that it was an equal end knife, but apparently it definitely is not. You can even just kind of look at it and tell it's not. And the pommel end looks like it comes in at 0.52, and the top about 0.61. So about 1/10 of an inch larger, the top than the bottom. So it is definitely not an equal end knife. The website says that it's 3.5 inches. I'm getting 3.45 here, so right at 3.5 inches. Let's break out the other ruler here. Clip blade. Just a tad over 2.5 inches. Cutting edge looks like about 2 3/8 of an inch. And then the spay blade on the other end, about the same, a little over 2.5 inches, about 2 5/8 of an inch. And the cutting edge, oh geez, it's pretty good. It's about 2 3/8 of an inch on the cutting edge, but I bet you if you were to rock that thing, it would be a little bit longer. Yeah, if you rock it, it's look at that. It's a little over 2.5 inches when you rock the cutting edge on that thing. So yeah, there's a lot of belly on that blade. So I got a feeling that would be really good for just, you know, doing some rocking cuts. So that would be a really nice knife, actually. I like that spay, and I can see this is a very practical EDC because of the way that blade can rock, and got a decent enough clip blade, and lengthwise under 3 inches, 2.5 inches on the blade. That's going to be legal just about everywhere. So really a worthwhile knife. I kind of dig it. And it's a moose pattern. I've got another large moose that's about 4 inches long. Definitely a pocket full, but this mini moose, I kind of dig it. I like it better than the large moose. And yeah, and the brown stag looks pretty good. So another brown stag knife. Welcome to the family. I'm really happy with the little mini moose. Very happy with it. And it's going to look really good with the other knives in the collection. Might have to get a second one of these just to throw it in the pocket and carry once in a while. I can definitely see this knife being a very useful knife. I wasn't really expecting that until I actually got it in my hand and looked at that blade. Obviously, I haven't been sold on the Trapper, and which also uses a spay blade, but this is definitely a more stylized spay blade than what you find on a standard Trapper. And if you ever listen to what my complaints are on a Trapper, it goes beyond the spay blade. And it has nothing to do with the quality of the knife and anything like that. There's other things about Trappers I don't like. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because the Trapper tends to steal the thunder of the moose. And this, I think I would carry this before I carried a mini Trapper. I like the mini moose better than the mini Trapper. At least I like the Rough Ryder mini moose better than a standard mini Trapper. I really do kind of dig these blades. What I'd really like to also see on this thing, though? I would kind of like to see this, the mini moose, but instead of a spay over here, I'd kind of like to see that with a pin blade. I think that would be also something cool. Or something else that would really be good is if they were to make this mini moose, this frame, use this frame for the mini moose, and you have the clip blade here, and maybe like a pair of scissors over on this side. Talk about an excellent knife for the office. Could you imagine? You've got your mini moose with a clip blade here and a pair of scissors on this side. You open up scissors and you got stuff you can cut, with a pair of scissors. Man, that would be really cool too. I could see a lot of good things coming out of this frame with different secondaries. This would be just a terrific frame. I'm really digging the frame. I really like the frame on this mini moose. I think it has so much potential. There's so many things you could do with this frame. Anyway, I'm definitely babbling and wondering here and moving beyond what I wanted to talk about. But yeah, I really dig the mini moose, even with the blade choices that are on there now. But it's got so much potential, and it looks really good with my other brown stag knives, or stag bone knives. Excuse me. In any case, there you have it. There's my look at the latest knife in the my brown stag bone collection by Rough Ryder and other Smoky Mountain Knife Works house brands. And the knife that I would have probably never picked up because I had only seen it online. I see it has a lot of potential. If I would have seen it in person in the store, I might have given it a second or third look, but I'm kind of glad that I got it in the November collection. I would have never bought it online, never. But looking at it, I would love it if they do more with this frame than just a clip and a spay blade. It has so much potential for an EDC knife. Letting you go now. Great talking to you. And I hope you enjoyed looking at the brown stag bone knives that I currently have. Might be getting a few more in the future. Thank you for visiting Knife Chats. I hope you enjoyed your time here. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that notification bell so that you will be notified when the next episode of Knife Chats is up online. Thanks again. See you soon.